Welcome back to NCAA 2004 in the Alabama Crimson Tide Dynasty mode, back with one of the top heaviest hitting rivalries in all of college football, at least as far as this sim is concerned, as of course it needs a little introduction just how important this game has been to both teams this season's entering into this matchup today against Arkansas. So in real life, I don't think this rivalry was really nearly as important as it is in this game, but it just seems to be to parse that way every single year, as this is pretty much the game that decides the Western Division in the SEC every single season. So as typically whichever team ends up winning this game only ends up losing maybe one game just max all season long anyway. So but Arkansas lost more than that last season, as they had themselves a bit of a rough season, which is why they're entering into this game undefeated but still only ranked 14th in the country, because they had a little bit of a rough season last year, fell a lot further in the rankings than they normally would have, and picked up some games that I won't say they maybe typically win, but they just had a murderer's row of a schedule, man. It was absolutely brutal. So on top of having to play us and whoever else in the SEC, like South Carolina, that they play every single year, they also played some pretty tough out-of-conference opponents as well. I have no idea why they would even schedule those, but the game is just completely unfair to the Razorbacks and gave them absolutely zero love and zero chance, really, if we're being honest. But either way, so this is another big game here. Obviously, this is one of the final tests of our career, just our coaching career. So there's been some turnover with the Razorbacks offense. Morgan Swift is no longer here, which is unfortunate for us because he turned the ball over a lot. he threw it to the other team a lot. So they have a brand new quarterback and some other pieces who have been here for the last few seasons but have not been major contributors. So it's going to be a lot of new names, but not totally unfamiliar to the roster and to the rivalry. So, but already we're wasting zero time finding David Reeves, who had an amazing game against Illinois in the previous video, and now he's already got touchdown number 6, as Matt Bishop has touchdown number 10 on the year. So he's starting to limit the turnovers a little bit more here. He comes into this game with a 9-5 split. And it's giving flashbacks a little bit to Dre Gates, you know what I mean? I think the one season that we went with Dre Gates where we just kind of said, screw it, he's our guy, and we kind of just went with the interceptions. It's kind of a similar season to that. So I think there's a high ceiling here, but the floor is just only getting a little bit higher. I think it's still pretty low as well. So we'll monitor that. But now there's more turnovers anyway, but this time it's not through the hands of Matt Bishop, but rather through Stanley as he puts a football on the ground. And now Arkansas taking over in this game here. And their quarterback, Bryce Gant, cannot lock up with his intended target as that ball sails into the grass. So Arkansas is going to have to just take 3 points here in another mucky Bryant-Denny Stadium, as it typically is in this game for some reason. I have no idea why, but that kick is still good. So Arkansas manages to finally at least answer back with some points of their own, and now the game is 7-3. But Bishop leading the boys down the other way, and he finds an Arkansas defender, plenty of open space as he gets across the 20, but he's going to get brought down by Matt Bishop, and that's like a record, dude. He's like made like 3 or 4 of the tackles on his own interceptions. So out of like the 6 he's thrown, he's made the touchdown saving tackle on at least half of them. That's hilarious to me. But yeah, he manages to track down this defender and manages to save the touchdown himself. But it is another mistake. So Alabama already turning the ball over a couple times, and we got to lock in, man. We got to lock in and be a little bit more protective with the football. As Gant takes the snap on a 3rd and 11, throws it into a complete mess. Just an absolute, just goofball of players right there. Just a complete mess. There was no chance that was going to get through. So bring out the kicking unit for Arkansas once again, just in the last 30 seconds of the first quarter. On a 4th and 11, the kick is up. Another kind of long one here, but it is good. So Arkansas gets within 1 point now, as the Crimson Tide offense has struggled to get any sort of momentum outside of that first big play that we had. It's been kind of going the wrong direction, or even turning the football over. But Arkansas back on offense once again. They're going to go with a fullback dive, and it's going to be a fumble. He's going to put it on the ground. So they decide to go to L. Maxwell. Great name, by the way. And he's going to fumble this one. So maybe the ball's a little bit slick out there. I can't really tell if it's raining just on the little, on the poor quality of the game here. But it might be a little bit mucky out there. Hard to hold on to the football. But now both teams have a fumble here. And Bishop dumps this one off quickly here to Stanley out in the flat, and he's going to get a huge pickup on the ground here. Tries to stay inbounds, but ends up getting flattened out of bounds. But now that is going to be a huge pickup for us. Now we are building up some momentum here. Now at about the 30-yard line of Arkansas on 1st and 10. We're going to go back to Stanley on the ground. Follows the block, sees a huge hole, and surges through it. And he's going to eventually get brought down here, but he did a great job of following the blocks and just kind of sieving through a lot of Arkansas defenders and getting a nice pickup once again. So Stanley finally contributing a little bit more here. Hasn't been that dazzling so far early in the season, but doing what we need him to. And now Bishop's going to run the option here with Stanley, pitches it off at the last second, and Stanley's going to dive into the end zone, and that's going to be good for a touchdown. So absolutely physical play from both Bishop and Stanley, managing to stay up as long as they possibly could. Bishop with a huge burst of speed, man. He was really moving out there. Look at that. And the double tackle here, he manages to get the ball out in time, and Stanley heads up play to dive forward and avoid the tackle, and that's going to be another Alabama touchdown. So we are going to take a 14-6 point lead at the end of the first half. So not a high-scoring event here. This game has been both high-scoring and low-scoring throughout this rivalry's history. It has definitely been a good mix of both here. And now Tavares Gant's finally going to make his first mistake of the game as he throws an interception to Ashanti Gray, who has kind of done a little bit of everything today. But Tavares Gant, it's not something he typically does. So Swift, I think also in that first game that we played against Swift 2 seasons ago, he came into this game with a really nice touchdown and INT split. Didn't turn over the ball a lot, and then he threw like 4 picks in that game. And in this game, it's the same situation. Tavares Gant does not throw a lot of interceptions. He's got a 6-1 ratio, but that is just his second interception of the season. So it still counts all the same, but we can't do anything with the football, so Arkansas is back on offense. But on a 4th and 5, coach is keeping them on the field here. Kind of a gutsy call here, and pressure is on. Gant shakes it off, still gets rid of the football here, and sends it to the end zone. It's still going to get intercepted, and for some reason it is taken out of the end zone. I can't really get behind the mind of that one. If we get a replay, we'll see exactly. I got a glimpse here, so we can call out appropriately who did the dumb thing, and it was Deion Moultrie who takes that one out of the end zone. But the third quarter is going to come to a close, and we are still on offense here. So 1st and 10, it's a pitch play, and that's a reversal. I have no idea how Stanley got rid of that. And that pass is completed to Bishop, and now Bishop's on the run. And it's going to be a huge pickup inside the 15, but there is a flag on the play. It might be a hole. We have to watch out for it. But it's going to be a face mask. So that play is not only going to stand, but we're going to get an extra handful of yards on top of that to get us inside the 10. I have no idea how Stanley was able to get that pitch off to complete the reversal here. Arkansas had that play completely snuffed out, but Stanley was able to get the ball out just in the nick of time. I couldn't see what receiver it was. I think it was Reeves who threw it, but an amazing trick play here that Sick Naben is dialing up, and now Bishop's going to finish off this drive with a touchdown pass here, a quick out route in the end zone, and now we are kind of opening things up a little bit here against Arkansas, finally getting into a little bit of a groove as it is a nice touchdown to Carlton May, who has yet to have a touchdown in this season. That's his first touchdown of the year, and he's listed a lot higher than Stacey Hall, who does have a touchdown, but either way, we're spreading out the ball a little bit more here. But now on the kickoff, on the ensuing kickoff, Arkansas is going to fumble the football again, and now it's a mad dash to get to it, and we're going to get on top of it. So another fumble for the Razorbacks is going to give us prime opportunity. So that pretty much matches their turnover differential, even though this game has been chock full of turnovers in either direction. But a 21-6 point game here late in the fourth quarter, that might have been the final nail in Arkansas's coffin, as Bishop finds Reeves across the middle, who shakes off that first tackle, and he's going to get brought down inside the 10, but more importantly, after picking up a first down. So this is a humongous gain for us, and now we're in a huge precarious position here. We can score and officially kind of put the Razorbacks away with a nice score here as Bishop manages to get that one across the middle, and that pass is going to be called by Stanley, the running back. So out of the backfield, if you can believe it. Out of the backfield he manages to do it, and that is going to be a huge touchdown and potentially the last one that we're going to need here to put Arkansas away officially, as their offense really just kind of stalled out, man. Mistakes and just, I don't know, just a lack of capitalization on our mistakes. It's weird. It's weird to think that this game at halftime was 14-6, and now we're kind of opening things up. And now within the last minute of the game, Stanley's going to get to the outside edge, and he's going to get himself another touchdown, or get a touchdown in this game, but get us another touchdown, as we are really just taking it to the Razorbacks. And once again, Sick Naben, we've seen this before, him really kind of just keeping the offense on the field and just taking it to the Razorbacks all the way down to the final minutes, as there's only 1 minute left in this game. We are firmly in control, but Stanley's going to pad the stats a little bit and get another touchdown. And we're going to take a humongous victory over Arkansas, a 35-6 victory, man. That is just absolutely crazy to me. I have no idea how we were able to so easily handle Arkansas in the way that we did, but we managed to do it, man. We fully managed to do it. That's exactly what happened, and we grabbed a big victory that we needed. We absolutely needed. So Arkansas not a top 10 team like they normally are, that we're used to kind of getting to pad the schedule here and help us out with the computer, but it is still a huge ranked victory over a top 15 team, and we will happily take it. So, and here we're looking at the numbers here, and Arkansas really just could not do much of anything. Tavares Gant has a nightmare game, throwing for 50%, no touchdowns, and obviously, a couple turnovers. So, a really, really horrendous game. They didn't run the ball well either. I didn't even call out the running back, J.T. Payne, who's actually having a good year. He's got over 500 yards and 5 touchdowns in this game, which matches his numbers from last season. So everything he did last year, he's already done in the first handful of games in the season running-wise. So he's having himself a good start to the year, but it just did not translate here on the field against our defense. So Matt Bishop has himself a pretty impressive game here, minus, of course, the turnovers here, but 10 for 17, 171 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not a lot of yardage, and of course the interception not great, but still, we'll take 3 touchdowns in a pretty decent completion percentage in a win. I'm not going to go back and forth over that in a win. So multiple touchdown game for the running back Stanley. Obviously, you'd love to see it. I couldn't remember if he had one earlier in the game or not with that last one, but he gets himself multiple touchdowns, and he's had himself a bit of a slow start to the year, only 2 touchdowns heading into this game, and now he's up to 4, and then, of course, we had a slew of throwing or receiving touchdowns. So, but heading now back to the hub world, Notre Dame picks up a huge win against Texas, who, again, has just become one of those teams who just has not been able to get out of the first half of the season. They always end up picking up 2 or 3 losses early on in the first half of the year, kind of torpedoing their chances, even though they've recruited very well ever since they've left prominence. But Maryland manages to pick up a huge victory against West Virginia. And now West Virginia's chances, once again, man, they suffer another tough loss at the beginning of the year. And then assuming forward a couple weeks, of course, Oklahoma ends up winning the Red River rivalry against Texas. A huge victory for the Sooners, as the Sooners are now mounting themselves a case for a national title bid, potentially, if they can continue winning and the teams in front of them keep losing, like West Virginia. So that was a huge win for Oklahoma. But now we are heading into one of our last games of the season, but we are going to watch Ole Miss. I decided we're going to watch Ole Miss. I haven't watched Ole Miss since like year 2 or 3, so we're going to watch the Rebels, even though they're not all that good. So hope to see you guys when we play Ole Miss. We're heading on the road to play the Rebels one last time.